In a challenging period of Islamic history, when disunity tore its fabric and blows rained down from every direction, especially from the Crusader invaders who settled in the heart of the Levant, a new dawn emerged. This was the light of a leader, who combined wisdom, chivalry, and piety, a man who dedicated his life to a higher goal, uniting Muslims and liberating Jerusalem. He was the just king, Nur ad-Din Mahmud ibn Imad ad-Din Zengi, who was not merely an emir or a ruler, but an inspiring knight, a mentor to generations, and a prelude to the greatest victory. His story is not just about wars and battles, but about state-building, nurturing faith, and reviving hope in a nation on the verge of surrender. Nur ad-Din Mahmud Zengi was born in 1118 CE in the city of Aleppo, which was then a strong fortress of Islamic resistance against the Crusaders. His father, Imad ad-Din Zengi, was a powerful figure and the founder of the Zengid dynasty, renowned for his bravery and sternness in fighting the Crusaders. Under his leadership, Muslims achieved their first major victory by recapturing Edessa in 1144. One of the significant Crusader states. Nur ad-Din grew up in an environment brimming with jihad, where he learned the arts of war and leadership from his father. However, he inherited not only military skill but also a deep commitment to religion and justice. He was a devout young man, inclined towards knowledge and worship, and these qualities later influenced his leadership style. After his father, Imad ad-Din Zengi's assassination in 1146, Nur ad-Din found himself facing a great challenge. The Zengid state was divided between him and his brother, Saif ad-Din Ghazi. Nur ad-Din took control of Aleppo and its surroundings, while his brother ruled Mosul. He had to prove his worth as a leader and reunite the state at a time when Crusader forces were preparing to launch a new crusade. It wasn't long before Nur ad-Din faced the first true test of his abilities. After the fall of Edessa, the Pope launched a massive Second Crusade, 1147 to 1149, led by Europe's greatest monarchs, King Louis VII of France and Emperor Conrad III of Germany. Their goal was to first recapture Edessa and then advance towards the Levant. Nur ad-Din was ready. He demonstrated his military acumen in repelling Crusader attacks, especially when they attempted to besiege Damascus. Nur ad-Din worked to unite the Islamic fronts in the Levant as much as possible, cooperating with the emirs of Damascus to fend off the assault. Thanks to his wise leadership and the steadfastness of the Muslims, the Second Crusade failed miserably, and the European armies retreated in disappointment. This early victory served as a testament to his leadership capabilities and bolstered his standing among Muslim emirs. Nur ad-Din did not stop at repelling aggression. He realized that Muslim weakness lay in their disunity. Therefore, he dedicated his life to uniting the Levant. This was not easy, as there were small competing emirates and states. Nur ad-Din pursued a wise policy that combined military force, diplomacy, and political marriages. He took control of Damascus in 1154. After years of peaceful and military attempts, Damascus was considered the key to the Levant. By uniting Aleppo and Damascus under his banner, Nur ad-Din became the dominant power in the Levant, paving the way for greater unification. His goal was to build a strong, unified state capable of effectively confronting the Crusader threat. Nur ad-Din was not content with military conquests alone. He was also interested in building the state's infrastructure. He built schools, mosques, hospitals, and markets. He encouraged science and scholars and focused on justice among his subjects, earning him the title, the Just King. He believed that the strength of a state lay not only in its armies but also in the justice of its rulers, the satisfaction of its people, and its scholars. Egypt was the next strategic point in Nur ad-Din's plan to unite the Islamic front. Fatimid Egypt was in a state of extreme weakness, and it faced repeated attempts by the Crusaders to seize control. Nur ad-Din sent several military campaigns to Egypt under the command of his uncle Shirkuh, who was accompanied by an ambitious and intelligent young man named Saladin. Yusuf ibn Ayyub. The struggle for Egypt was complex, as Fatimid, Crusader, and Zengid forces were intertwined. Shirkuh and Saladin demonstrated great military prowess in these campaigns. Eventually, Shirkuh managed to gain control of Egypt and assumed the position of vizier to the Fatimid Caliph after Shirkuh's sudden death. The Fatimid Caliph chose Saladin to succeed him. Nur ad-Din watched these developments closely. When Saladin ended the Fatimid Caliphate and restored Egypt to the Sunni Abbasid Caliphate, it was a significant fulfillment of Nur ad-Din's vision for uniting the Islamic ranks. However, the relationship between Nur ad-Din and Saladin was not without tension. Saladin was building his own power in Egypt and was ambitious. Nur ad-Din feared that Saladin would separate Egypt from his state. There were plans for Nur ad-Din to invade Egypt to assert his direct control, but his death prevented this. Nur ad-Din Zengi was a unique personality. He was known for his asceticism and piety. He rejected extravagance and lived a simple life despite being a sultan. He prayed frequently, fasted, and often recited the Quran. He would weep when he saw injustice and sought fairness in his judgments. It is narrated that he earned his livelihood by copying Qurans. He possessed a clear strategic vision to unite the Muslim nation under one banner to confront the Crusader threat and liberate Jerusalem. He was not interested in personal glory as much as he was interested in the glory of Islam. He was a brilliant military commander, but he was also a statesman who cared for the affairs of his subjects and encouraged science and art. He built schools for the 4 Sunni madhabs, established Sharia courts, and opened the doors of his palace to the oppressed. He was considered the spiritual mentor of Saladin. He instilled in him the values of jihad and unity, paving the way for Saladin to achieve the greater victory. Without Nur ad-Din's efforts in unifying the Levant and weakening the Crusaders, Saladin would not have been able to achieve what he did. Nur ad-Din Zengi died in Damascus in 1174 CE. At the age of 56, after suffering from a sudden illness. His death was a devastating loss to the Islamic world. He was at the peak of his power and planning a final assault on the Crusaders. Nur ad-Din left no personal wealth behind, but he left a much greater legacy, a unified and powerful state in the Levant and Egypt, a trained army, a burning spirit of jihad, and a young leader named Saladin, who was best suited to complete his journey. Nur ad-Din Zengi is considered the prelude to the liberation of Jerusalem, having played the largest role in preparing the groundwork for that historic victory. His name continues to be remembered in history as one of the greatest leaders who combined strength with faith and justice with chivalry. He is the tireless knight of Islam who laid the cornerstone for the liberation of Al-Aqsa Mosque. His story teaches us that true victory comes not by force alone, but by unity, justice, and a deep belief in a higher mission.